Airdrops are one of the craziest things about the entire crypto space. Think about just being an early user to an application and then getting rewarded with thousands of dollars in free cryptocurrency. This has happened to me several times with applications like Uniswap, ENS, 1inch Exchange, and so much more. I know some of that sounds too good to be true, like it might be a scam, but it's 100% legit because you have all these different crypto projects that are trying to release new tokens, and the playbook for doing this is to reward early adopters who have actually used the application so that you can bootstrap a healthy ecosystem. In this video, I'm going to talk about a brand new opportunity with the Arbitrum platform that is likely to do an airdrop in the future, in my opinion, and how you can position yourself for this. So before we get into that, if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to master blockchain step-by-step start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. All right, so let's talk about how to get in on this potential Arbitrum airdrop. So let's kind of set the stage for how these crypto airdrops work in the first place. Let's use past examples. So let's talk about the Uniswap airdrop, for example. That was one of the first major airdrops that kicked off this whole strategy, where basically you get people who have actually made transactions on the blockchain with your application, and then you take a snapshot of that, and then you airdrop tokens to, people who have done that. So the playbook is basically trying to figure out who does not have a token yet, and then start doing transactions with that technology, hoping that they are going to do this. Now, I think there's a lot of reason to think that they're going to launch a token, because in many ways, it's sort of like the idea that whoever doesn't have a token yet is probably going to have a token. And particularly with Arbitrum, it's a layer 2 scaling solution that doesn't have any kind of cryptocurrency associated with it. And at some point, I think we're going to need some sort of economic incentives to reward people on the network. And that's why I think there's going to be a big probability that they're going to do an airdrop. And one reason why this could be such a big deal is because right now, at the time of recording this video, things are pretty bearish in the crypto space. And if we're in some sort of long, wintry crypto bear market, those can be times where you actually build a real strong community with tokens like this. And that's a time that, an airdrop can be much more meaningful than just some frothy bull market where people don't really care and they're just going to dump tokens automatically. Okay, so let's talk about what Arbitrum is so that you can position yourself for this airdrop. So it is a layer 2 scaling solution on top of Ethereum. So what is that? Well, one of the biggest complaints about Ethereum is it's too slow, it's too expensive to use for most people. And they think Ethereum 2.0 has to ship before that can be fixed. Well, that's not really true. Ethereum 2.0 is not going to fix that problem, but that's what layer 2 scaling solutions are for, and that's been the end game for Ethereum for quite some years now. So basically, this is where you create a second, layer on top of Ethereum where you do the transactions. It's kind of like a separate blockchain where all the finality of those transactions is included back on the main chain. You can see a list of all those different layer 2 scaling solutions on a website like l2beat.com. You can see Arbitrum, Optimism. Okay, Arbitrum is at the top of the list here. Optimism is another popular one for optimistic rollups. They're very similar. Okay. Now, another reason to think that Arbitrum is going to do an airdrop is because, well, guess what? Optimism has done an airdrop, and because it's such a main competitor chain, it stands to reason they're probably going to do an airdrop of some kind. All right, so let's talk about how to position yourself for this airdrop. Now, full disclosure, there's no way to know exactly how they're going to, reward people. You can go look at other airdrops that happened in the past, like Uniswap, ENS, right? And you can also look at recent ones like Optimism, because they're starting to get kind of advanced in how they do some of these things to, filter out people who are just airdrop farming. But I'm going to give you some ideas. So first and foremost, you want to get onto the network and start doing some transactions so that you can, use dApps and stuff like that. So the main way to do this is by using a bridge. So this is just some technology that lets you connect your MetaMask wallet and take funds. So in this case, like cryptocurrency like Ether, for example, and then move them over to the Arbitrum ecosystem. So you need a MetaMask wallet, you need to go to bridge.arbitrum.io and use it. So I'll talk about that later in the video. I'm just gonna give you the high-level overview for now. If you want to practice this, I highly recommend doing it on a test network first before you do the mainnet. And of course, don't bridge any funds that you can't afford to lose, because there's always risks associated with using bridges when you're getting on these ecosystems, okay? So once you're on the ecosystems themselves, you can look at some different applications and start using them, okay? So you can think about lots of applications that exist on Ethereum right now have deployments to Arbitrum, like 1inch Exchange. That'd be pretty easy strategies to just swap some tokens, like take your Ether and swap it for USDC and vice versa, or some other coin, right? or even you had stable coins, you could just swap stable coins around. So one thing I want to mention here also is you're going to need Ether in order to use Arbitrum in the first place, because that's how you pay the gas fees. That's the whole beauty of layer 2s. Like they're meant to help Ethereum scale, and you need Ether to continue paying the gas fees in those ecosystems. So even if you decide to swap stable coins around, you still need to, pay with Ether for gas fees, but the fees are a lot cheaper than the Ethereum network once you're on the ecosystem itself. So I want to draw your attention, though, to two other main efforts that could likely be a factor in who gets airdrops and how much. So the first one is going to be this thing called Arbitrum Odyssey. Okay, so basically, Arbitrum Odyssey is going to be an event where you can participate with different projects in Arbitrum, okay? And then you can get rewarded with free to mint NFTs. So there's some potential upside for this, even if this doesn't qualify you for the airdrop, because you're going to get, NFTs for doing this, okay? So this is going to start, I believe, in June. Okay, so definitely go check out the Arbitrum Twitter account or their Medium for any official announcements for off-chain labs about, when this is actually going to go live. But there's a lot of people who think that participation in Arbitrum Odyssey is going to give you, a leg up in potentially getting the Arbitrum airdrop whenever it comes out. Again, nobody knows for sure, but that's a likelihood. All right, so other initiative that, very well could factor into the Arbitrum airdrop eligibility is Arbitrum Nitro. So what is that? Well, right now, the layer 2 scaling solution that and can use today is called Arbitrum 1. That's the current version. And they're upgrading to Arbitrum Nitro, I believe, later this year. Okay, so I don't have an official deadline on when that's going to happen. But that actually could be the time when they do some sort of airdrop. Like that could coincide with, the launch of Arbitrum Nitro. So right now, they have Arbitrum Nitro set up on a dev network. So basically a test network for Arbitrum Nitro, this new scaling solution, on top of the Goerli test network for Ethereum. So, Ethereum supports multiple networks. Basically, you've got, the Ethereum mainnet. That's where all the cryptocurrency is valuable. Then you have these test networks like Ropsten, Rinkeby, Kovan, Goerli, right? And so you can build that layer 2 on top of any of those networks. And so right now, if you want to use the Goerli network, you can start using Arbitrum Nitro. And there's a chance that, if you are a participant in the developer applications for those, that, your wallet could be eligible for the Arbitrum airdrop on the mainnet. Now, we don't know for sure. That would be one of the first times we ever seen people incentivize test network participation, and there's a small chance that won't happen because, it doesn't cost people anything. You can just write a bot that spams that thing. But it's a little bit of speculation, but it's worth, taking a shot. All right, so those are some ideas on how you could become eligible for the Arbitrum airdrop. And so if you take some notes from the past airdrops, like Optimism, for example, you probably don't want to just bridge over once and then do one transaction, because that's probably not going to make you eligible. You probably want to have some transactions on multiple different days, using some of the applications that are listed here on the Arbitrum 1 portal, okay, or doing some of the tasks that I just mentioned with Arbitrum Odyssey or Arbitrum Nitro. But the first thing you definitely need to do is use the bridge. So again, I'm going to show you to do this on a test network, okay? I'm just on Rinkeby. You can go to your MetaMask and change accounts here to the Rinkeby test network. All right, you can also go to add L2 network on the Arbitrum bridge, and it will add the Arbitrum Rinkeby so that you have the ability to do that. Okay, I'm going to switch back to Rinkeby here. Okay, so I highly recommend, if you're not comfortable, moving cryptocurrency around with bridges and MetaMask, that you try it to see what it's like on a test network. It doesn't cost you anything. You can get free cryptocurrency from the Rinkeby faucet from Chainlink. You can just go faucet.chain.link/Rinkeby, and you can just request some free Ethereum cryptocurrency or Ether to do this. So basically, you would just use a bridge like this. You can enter the amount. I'm going to say 0. Let's see here, 0.1. All right. And then it shows your layer 2 balance. You just click deposit. All right. It's going to say, hey, you're going to deposit to Arbitrum. You're going to move the funds, sign the transaction with MetaMask. Okay. Click confirm. And you'll wait for this to finish. So the estimated arrival time is about 3 minutes. And when that's finished, you can see the L2 transaction ID. Here's the Rinkeby transaction. So we'll just refresh this, wait for it to get done. All right, and so that's finished. Now, if you go back to the status page here on Arbitrum, it's confirmed on layer 1. Now we're waiting on layer 2. So the estimated arrival time is about 10 minutes. I probably won't wait for the entire thing to finish off this video, but basically what you want to do is see what the experience is like before you try it on mainnet. And also don't try to do it with any funds that you could afford to lose, okay? So we can't afford to lose is what I mean. So basically, once you're on the ecosystem, like figure out, like look at the process of bridging on and then, withdrawing, because with optimistic rollups, you have a delayed withdrawal period. You can't just get it back instantly. In some cases, you have to wait multiple days before you can actually get that off. There's other ways that you can, use portals to speed that process up, but that adds additional trust assumptions. That's why I say look at the entire process and go through it on a test network in particular before you try to bridge your funds over on the main net. But if you do it on the main net, then that's when you can start using these applications like, 1inch or Aave. Okay. Basically, you can just click through any of these applications. This would be the easiest one. It'd be just like swap some tokens, and then you can just connect to the Arbitrum version. It's going to ask you to connect to the Arbitrum mainnet. It'll give you the RPC URL, the chain ID. Okay, just click approve and then switch network, and you'll see you'll see the option to do that here. It works just like any other Ethereum dApp does. You just change the RPC URL. You're on the Arbitrum network. You can do swaps, and you can do them for a fraction of the cost that you would on the mainnet. And then, you can leave your funds on the Arbitrum ecosystem, or you can withdraw them back to the Ethereum mainnet whenever you're finished. All right, so that's an overview of how to position yourself for the Arbitrum airdrop. Okay, so again, there's no guarantee that this is going to happen, and even if it does happen, you don't know the exact criteria for, how they're gonna make different people eligible for this airdrop. But the best shot that you have is basically to, bridge your funds over the network and start using multiple different things on multiple different days, okay? You actually look at some of the playbook for how Optimism did this. We could likely see an answer in how Arbitrum does this. Now, the cool thing about Optimism is basically, they're doing a rolling airdrop where even if you don't meet the initial criteria, there's still gonna be some chances in the future. So you could definitely check that out. I think this is a really great thing to happen right now while the crypto market's kind of down and, people are a little, it's much quieter in the space. That's a great opportunity to build community, which ultimately is what you want with a token like this. And so I'm super excited for you all to, get a shot at this. So that's all I got for today. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That really helps videos out, so then we'll learn about blockchain. And if you're as fascinated with this technology as I am, you want to get your hands dirty, how can you get started today? You can go to my YouTube homepage. You can find my free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. And if you like those and you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you want to take a master shortcut entirely, I can show you how to become a blockchain master step-by-step, start to finish, over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You don't have to be an expert to get started today. Help people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. And until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.